Okay. To hear people involved in some of the foulest things you can imagine done to women, and I've talked about the children, it's so horrible. That's already a sign that these people are just bottom feeders. Um, I'm a target individual, I'm a test subject. What it means is that the government is using me as a guinea pig and doing things to me cognitively, physically, psychologically, but there's nothing unique to me. They do that to all kind of test subject that are men, women, and even children. Now, to hear people that so they like to create a psyop. They want to present a false reality. This is part of this like tactics of confusing the target individual to make them believe something else. And it's comical. I gotta say, even though the things they do to me is horrible, it's comical to try to see people who are playing this role, who want to still enjoy because they're not really like they're just contracted. They're not the people running the show. They're participants. It seems like you know the government is contracting civilians to partake in this. There must be some kind of incentives that either financial or others, right? But there's a lot of people who are civilians involved in this themselves in that. With me, what they try to do is to create this facade. It's the most disgusting facade because this at this point of my targeting, I've heard enough testimony to understand there's a plenty of women being used as test subject. And I don't think this is something different. I know this is the same program I'm in. The way they torture women is things that you hear in like war crime testimonials. They are pure atrocities. Pure. I mean, not only they are tortured, they are raped, they are tormented, they are destroyed, their life, their career, everything is destroyed. Matter of fact, these women describe exactly what's happening to them. You see this title? Worse. The reason why I say that is because for me, there's this psyop that these people are just some femme fatale Avengers and they are war. So much trashiness to even say these things. At this point, there's not only the fact that there's torture of children, torture of women, but they're just a mass shooting that just caused 18 people die. A child got shot and died. Another child got shot and survived. Her leg got wounded because a target individual lost his mind and ended up shooting a place where there was a bunch of people, including a lot of children. And to see this low life involved in a program that just and tell themselves like we are war. You're not a war, you piece of shit. You're an opportunist who is pushing people into insanity. And some of the people that being pushed in this program to that level of insanity end up harming children. And your trash us from your remote location is telling me how you are war. You're a nasty bottom feeder and opportunist. But everything have its time. I will never let these bottom feeders even try to delude themselves in this falsified reality. I understand this enjoyment in participating in that. It's just they don't want to see reality because they want to do what they do in that fantasy and still try to consider themselves good people, normal people. But the humiliation of reality has been too much. With me, they're like, no, we're doing it for corny, for this. It's like corny. For some reason, you have been able to desensitize yourself from the atrocities that this program that you involve yourself in is doing to women and children. You heard the common rapes. These people are involved in a program that use rapes commonly, not only on men, but on women, to torment them into suicide. Who knows how many have already killed themselves and died? But to imagine this trash in every way showing that you are a fucking low life for involving yourself in this is delusional too. For me, I cannot do that. If I have a purpose on this earth, it's for these people who find the easy way out to enjoy, not even easy way to enjoy this feeling of empowerment, but at the cost of desensitizing themselves on the horrible atrocities that they involved themselves in that program that does these things. They were mocking me when I was looking at a picture of a woman. Her back was burned. It's like, oh, we burned them. And they're like, no, we are war. Trash, you're definitely not. You're at war. You're a coward and opportunist. And you're using human beings as test subjects. Of course, these bottom feeders saying that are not the one running the program. They're conveniently involved themselves in something where, they are just the participants. I can never look at them and think these people are running the show. I'll never look at them like, oh, you can't even say this name. You can't say Roy Moore clearly. You can't. So I understand who's running the show. And this is the way they kind of cognitively play with you. They want you to feel vilified, and they want me to see them as like this vengeful these people have done so much horrible things. Some of them doing that to me have the expertise in doing that to women and children. But somehow they want me to let them live that fantasy. Like I said, you are foul human beings, and for the blood that you have on your hand that consists of women and men and children, you'll be reimbursed. Everything have its time. In the meantime, like I say, enjoy this empowerment, this intoxicating empowerment. But I'm not going to let you live that fantasy of you are some kind of femme fatale in a program that just caused a mass shooting that killed a child, in a program that tortured women every day, raping them day in and day out using this super sophisticated technology. You're just opportunists. You're creating these fantasies, and I'm glad that I was able to see what you are. You're going to hear the testimonies of women. You're going to hear the horrible things of what they do to women. You've heard those testimonies. They're horrible. And so to counter that, with me, they tell me, oh, we're going to do worse things than that for you. So you're going to torture me worse than the way you torture women and children. Wow. What a strong femme fatale. What an empowering thing that you are. What an empowering person that you are. You telling me, and listen how stupid they become, that you gonna harm me, torture me more than the way you torture and harm women. We're gonna do our worst. With this woman, we do our mild. Our medium worse. We just torture them, but for a long time, but it's not extreme. For you, it's gonna be extreme all the time. For them, it's extreme and mild, and sometimes it's more extreme. Do you understand that this is how, and this is how I'm pushed into insanity by people who wants me to forget the reality, and the way they desensitize themselves in the testimonies that you hear, completely desensitizing themselves on a woman literally saying, "I'm being my genitals are being electrocuted to the point where there's discharges coming out." A woman saying, "I've been destroyed in every ways." Another woman saying, "I'm in pain, I'm suffering." Another woman that said, "They raped me and they even refused to give me a rape kit. Everybody is compromised. I go to the doctors, they treat me like a third class citizen." Other women saying, "Me and my whole family is being destroyed." On TI Day, there's women saying, "No, me and my family in Asia, Malaysia, we are targeting visual, we are being destroyed, but I'm not going to give up till the end." Another woman saying, I moved from California to New Zealand, is still following me here. This is what they try to say, "Oh, we're going to do worse than that." Okay. I'm just so thankful that I never involved myself in a program where I have to say these things. "Oh, we're going to torture you worse than how we torture women." And you know why? Saying we're doing it for this woman, Courtney. You lied to her. You liar. For some reason, this avengement feeling got turned on, to get switched on for Courtney, a woman that you don't care about, a woman that's living her life. Her life is not destroyed. Her life is not ruined. Her family is still, she's living life every day. But for the women that is in the program where you work for some reason, those women whose life is destroyed, some reason they're raped every day, you're somehow able to turn off this anger. The truth is, they know. They just want to find ways to feel better about what they do. So if with me, it's like, oh, you see, for Courtney, we're doing that for her. Trash. You don't care. Don't even say that name. You can't be in a program where you literally zapping genitals and tell me that you protecting women, aiming zapping the rectum. This testimonies, and right now I haven't had time to sit down and actually look for more testimonies of women. They all bring up rape. They all bring up rape out of nowhere. They say that we getting raped. Rape is commonly used in this program to break down the target individual, who's a man or woman. It's a common thing they do. And women are complaining the most. Women target individual. So you gotta understand, this is how nasty they are. So imagine me, and this is why I asked God to give me strength. They wanted to present themselves as this feminist femme fatale. Then this facade is destroyed. Because even women are saying, there's a lot of females involve themselves in this program, in this V2K. What kind of woman are you? You're not even a woman. Who can you be? How can you be involved in this, knowing there's women in this program? If you're a woman and you're involved in this program, you know there's women being tortured and they think they're normal. There's literally, you're going to hear that. And you imagine these people wanting to live this fantasy. They try to counter it. And then I bring up testimonies of some atrocities that is happening today. Matter of fact, I'm in one of the videos you're going to see there, literally saying this is happening to men, women, and children all around the world. This is in 2020. This is impacting men, women, and children all around the world. And you hear the women talking. And while these people are saying the different name, they try to pretend like they're doing it for them. I'll bring it for Britney. Shut. You fry her like you fry this woman in New Zealand. Or the one in California. Or the one in Detroit. Or the one in Baltimore. Or the one in Chicago. These people are nasty low-life opportunities. And to find these people trying to present and for you are a low-life trash. And I pray for any person that you say the name you're doing it for, never put in this program, because I know what will happen to them. I heard the testimonies. For sure, rape of some sort will be utilized on them. There will be sexual torture applied on them via this technology that is commonly used to torture women in sexual ways. But because these people, they want to live in this fantasy. You know, it's crazy to see people trying to cope because they chose a program, right? And I understand why they like them. I'm not even gonna down myself. I know that the reason why they enjoy this is because can you imagine have the ability to control a human being? You know the level of like empowerment that gives you? Forget even the financial incentives, just that. Be involved in this sophisticated technology where you can do so much to somebody. Your life, who knows what's going to happen? You can plan for the best, you can do everything, but you don't know what's going to happen. Me, a test subject in a program where they're using some of the most sophisticated technology where your whole ecosystem is manipulated. How amazing that can be. So if whatever I need to dumb myself down, I know, of course, that this program is out here frying women's genitals. I know babies are being tortured. I know children are dying. I know this man just killed 18 people because he was pushing to insanity. I know I'm involved in that. I know all of that very well. I'm smart enough to understand that if this guy can see that in this state of torture and torment me, I can see that even in a better way. But I want to enjoy this. So now we're going to do our worst. I'm going to present myself as, we are doing this to protect these women. They're going to rape you. I'm in a program that literally uses rape systematically, remotely. Stretching women using this technology. So how am I going to cope with that? Oh man, he's keep bringing this mirror in my face. I don't want to see it. Let's do some torture to the point where we can even us forget that we are here killing women too. Oh, you lied. Oh, you lied a lot, huh? Oh, for Courtney, trash us. Don't even say her name. And to me, another facade that disturbs me is the facade of, we're women. Look at us. Look how regular we are. Look how sensible we are. We're sensible women. We have children. We are professionals. Why would we be? You're going to hear all of that. They are trying to normalize what they're involved in. If you're a woman who respects yourself, who's caring about other women, won't you stand up in this and say, rally against this? Why are they using women as test subjects? Why are they raping them and torturing them like this and pushing them to suicide? Why are they destroying the life of all these women and their children? Nah. What you gonna do is like you're mad for corny, a woman who you don't give a damn about, that is living her life with her children. And like the women in this program that are dying, literally say, I'm dying. Grabbing their hearts and showing, I'm dying. I'm feeling my heartbeat pounding. I have a house. I have 3 bedrooms. I have this land. I don't want to live there because my neighbors are shooting me with this fucking radiation things. And this trash, you lie a lot. Trash ass. Delusion. Am I lying a lot when I hear this testimony? I told them, hey guys, lie for me. Hey, you target an individual who's a woman in Florida, lie for me. Tell them that you are no longer want to live in your house because there's neighbors zapping you and doing things to you. Oh, target an individual who's a woman who lives in New Zealand. Tell them that you left California thinking that in New Zealand you'll be safe, and finding out that things are still happening over there and you're still being targeted over there. Lie for me again. Target an individual who's a woman in Chicago. Tell them that you're being tortured day in and day out under the roof of your home, and you're being zapped in the genitals. These trash are bottom feeders, cowards that are supposed to cognitively make me lose my mind, but there's too much blood of women that they have on their hands. So these gimmicks and things they try to flip around and say, now you lie a lot, trash ass. With the amount of death of women who's already died and who will be dying because of this trash. Target individual, nobody's perfect. The reason why they say you lie a lot is because I remember when I was talking to my friend and I was saying, I was making stories up to impress some people. And I was like, why am I lying about that? And so they try to say, oh, you lie a lot. And then they talk, no, but with corny, remember you told her that this you use this, and then it's like, oh my gosh. Imagine somebody who's talking about me lying about me using something while they're in a program where they literally torture these women and destroying their whole freaking life. Their life, their body, their family destroyed. And you want me to bypass that and be like, no, you lie a lie. You see, you're a liar. Trash us. And they're like, no, we're going to lie. You know what they say? They're going to lie for that. We're going to lie. But we're going to say we frame you. We're going to say that you did something to us. You're going to frame us. They're going to frame me. And we're going to lie that we say it's like trash. For corny trash us out here killing women. You're just an opportunist. Lying is not the thing that I wish. Lying to them is like breathing. They are involved in a program that does horrible things to some of the most vulnerable people, and you're going to hear the testimonies. Or they say you lie a lot. It's just retardation. And women looking at me is like, do you think I don't understand the testimonies here? You are destroying life. People have died because of your low life. We talk about death with destruction. This is one I see you guys as. There's nothing fierce about you. Listen to this Zoe kid, 10-year-old, asking why are they shooting. Why would somebody shoot a place where there's a bunch of children? But you're like, yeah, it's war, trash ass. Target individual, please do not identify with these things, with these manipulations, with these scenarios, with their narratives, all this bullshit. They create a facade, a psyop. They're supposed to make it look like that this is not a program where governmental entities with a lot of issues, disturbing issues, have been utilizing defense technology and utilizing defense technology on test subjects that are humans, men, women, and children, to develop this technology. They've been contracting people all around your ecosystem, around you. There's a lot of incentives. Some of them for sure is financial. Some of them I'm sure is not, doesn't have to be financial. You just imagine this level of sophisticated technology and you participate in that. That alone can be an incentive. And so to involve themselves in this that they know is horrible, that's horrible things. We talk about using human subject in these horrible things, and they know that it's not only men, but even women and children are inclusive of that. They're gonna trick themselves in whatever way to make themselves feel okay. And then even to the point where they tell themselves we are at war. When they just hear a 10-year-old child who got shot in the leg, while they are somewhere in the most comfortable way, is far from any danger, and provoking somebody like me, who is not somebody who's trying, who literally pray to not even be aggressive. These people, these people deserve something else that is not on this earth. So in the meantime, I ask God, give me strength. Thank you for letting me see them for what they are, and thank you for not giving me the opportunity to do what they do. Where to try to counter the atrocities that this person continuously hear about what's happening in this program, what he's doing, well, what they're doing is I have to say, oh, we're gonna be worse than the way we torture these women and children. Can you imagine? Oh, we're gonna push it to the. Oh, okay, so the more I scream, the less they're gonna be tortured. Is that how it works, or what? Target individuals. For me, I've been thankful to have the ability to see things for what they are, and when I see them, because like this woman's gonna say, they really think they're normal. They've tried to normalize what they're part of. Right now, they're a little bit emotional because there's an actual child who got killed, a 14-year-old who got killed in the mass shooting because a target individual lost his mind, shot everybody there, killing a 14-year-old, killed 18 people in total, 13 injured, inclusive of a child. So now they're like, oh, they try to find a way to trick themselves to think that it's okay. Finding ways to just like counter that, to make themselves feel normal again. No, there'll be more and more. Who knows when this next mass shooting that's going to kill some other people because of a target individual who's been pushed into insanity. While this trash like we are war. Before I die, before I get tortured to this point, I expect the worst, but I just want to say thank you, God. And I know these people are going to get theirs. It's like there's been a preview of reality. It's like, okay, keep doing these things. And this perp who said this thing, and she was trying to make it mystical toward me. It's like, oh, everything has its time. And I'm like, you shouldn't say that. You should definitely not say that, because you're right. Everything has its time. Right now, your time is to play God, to counter the torture and the atrocities that you involved yourself in. The program is involved in, the program that you involved yourself in does to people. So I don't know if this person specifically has participating in the torture of women and children, but she's involved in a program that does this, and I'm for sure certain that there's plenty of people involved in my targeting who've done that to women and children. So you're right. Everything has its time. Right now, your time is you enjoy what you're involved in a program that torture men, women, and children. Then your time comes for being such a God. Maybe your time already has started. I don't care. I don't care to see it. And she was like, "No, you're gonna see me suffer." I was like, "I don't care I don't care if this person's suffering or not. They don't mean nothing. They're nothings. I have no interest in seeing you suffering. This is a miserable way of living. You're a coward. But your time will come. I don't need to see that. You know it's gonna come yourself. Not today, but it will come. But you have seen some previews. And because me breaking that fantasy of theirs, I'm going to be tortured to the point where they can be like, oh, you pay. No. Too much horribleness, too much atrocities have been well testified. Never. I don't care. They even use these childlike individuals who think because they're child-minded, it's gonna block our reality. No. I know. Next door 14-year-old involved. I understand. This trash is literally being groomed to do that to people, including women and children. So her future can consist of doing that to even more vulnerable people. Listen to the testimonies.
We have been subjected to COINTELPRO. My name is Catherine Nestor, and I'm from Pennsylvania. This commission has spoken of a long history of abuse of the human research subject. Although no one mentioned MKUltra today, President Clinton recently apologized for this. My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage. And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony. Please do not wait 70 years to investigate this. I ask Dr. Amy Gutman to begin today. There is new work for the Commission for Human Subject Protection on our shores. And please give us a dramatic response, Susan, and please give us a congressional hearing. Thank you.
Tell you're part of the team, ensuring candidates, split personality spies, and information couriers, people that will carry the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this. And so anyway, my interview with Len,
in 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day. Human mind can be altered. In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior.
Army reservist, and the documents show that these warnings concerned his deteriorating mental health, rising paranoia and anger, and resource officer. And the school resource officer calls down a sheriff's deputy to speak with the family. Go to a school resource officer, and the school resource officer calls down a sheriff's deputy to speak with the family. And in that interview, the teenage son and the ex-wife say that he has started to hear voices. He started to be increasingly paranoid and angry. They're all hanging out together at a motel, and he starts accusing them of calling him a pedophile. This is one of his paranoid delusions that comes up repeatedly.
In me last week, from the New York Times, I'm Michael Barbaro. This is The Daily. Today, the mass shooting that occurred in Maine last week, killing 18 people, was the country's deadliest of the year. It may also have been one of the most avoidable.
Around others wounded. The first 911 call coming in around 7 p.m. from a local bowling alley that was hosting a youth night for a kids' bowling league.
We have an active shooter. We have multiple injuries.
Authorities releasing these surveillance images showing the suspect they're looking for. His name is Robert Card, and he's pictured armed with an AR-15 style rifle.
Mr. Card is considered armed and dangerous. and police advise that Maine people should not approach him under any circumstances.
Megan Hutchinson and her 10-year-old daughter Zoe were at the bowling alley. Zoe's leg grazed by a bullet.
I never thought I'd grow up and get a bullet in my leg. Why? Like, why do people do this?
After allegedly shooting several people inside the bowling alley, Card is believed to have traveled about 4 miles to a local bar and restaurant. Sources tell ABC News that Card has a history of military service and is a firearms
over my legs and sometimes on my face and arms. The first incident of this was so extreme and highly traumatizing that it made me let out a most horrific, piercing scream. This is completely sensory, so it leaves no marks, but it feels like you're being thrown into a fire while still alive. One day in 2015, also, I was awakened in the middle of the night with my left arm completely limp, as though there was no bone in it, or as though it had been paralyzed, and it had a horrific numb-like sensation in addition to a severe burning sensation. I awoke suddenly in the most extreme, piercing screams, not knowing what to do other than to just cradle the totally flaccid arm in my other hand while screaming hysterically, and then it quickly returned to normal but left me very traumatized. Something they have been doing for about the past 4 months or so has been the symptoms of a yeast infection, which they turn off or on, as well as up or down in severity. Right after nearly every shower, and sometimes during the shower, they do severe symptoms of a yeast infection, sometimes making me scratch my genitals so much that it leaves my genitals painfully raw, making it hard to walk or sit or go to the bathroom. I would now like to talk about the people around.
If you talk to the victims, the TIs, one of the worst breakdowns, and it's pretty common. I think I can say the word simulated rape and forced orgasm.
You can say anything you want. This is the internet.
Okay. And so simulated orgasms and rape is extremely common, and especially violating for women. They complain about that torture breakdown the most.
Experiences, including my reactions and responses, rocking, swaying, jolting. The torture was often. They also often force vaginal all over my knees and hands when hitting the hard floor. Then once on the floor, I would be attacked so severely, nearly to the point of passing out and rolling my eyes to the back of my head in such excruciating agony for many, many hours on a regular, nearly daily basis. The nature and level of extreme torture I have experienced for the past 3 years is simply indescribable. Not even the video recordings could truly capture the internal experience, especially when the torture involves both physical and mental psychological factors and the direct manipulation of my internal experiences, including my reactions and responses to the torture. The Polish Minister of Defense later retracted all his statements, denying the existence of electronic assault crimes. The nature of the torture I have been experiencing has been highly sexual in nature and highly perverted, involving many combinations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me. This includes many different types of zaps to varying degrees to the genitals, butt, anus, and the entire pelvic area. This also includes many kinds of movements, such as the rocking, swaying, jolting, vibrating, and shaking of my entire body or various body parts, specifically in a sexual way. The severe vibration is a highly noxious stimuli and is very intolerable. They sometimes do pulses or throbbing sensations on the genitals too, etc. There are also body movements such as rocking my pelvic area back and forth, repeated rubbing sensations, the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past 3 years now. When severe, the zaps to the genitals feel as though someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also includes videos of violence and grotesque figures, and sometimes numbers and other symbols used to threaten torture. This forces me to open my eyes, even when I'm so sleep deprived. I experience frequent, severe forced movements of my eyeballs side to side, up and down, and bulging in and out. The forced eyeball movements are very often extreme, and I experience it often for many hours at a time, particularly through the night, nearly every night. This is often combined with other forms of torture. They also inflict forced biting, where they make me bite my hands and arms forcefully, leaving severe bite marks and bruises. I sometimes have to sleep with 2 pairs of gloves on my hands to help prevent the severe, painful bite marks and bruising. They are horribly violent, and they often threaten more extreme forms of violence. One of the things that the V2K repeats often is, "We only get worse." They also often zap my genitals very forcefully, while at the same time forcing repeated, strong, painful muscle contractions all over my body that are very exhausting, so that it feels as though I ran a marathon through the night instead of sleeping. This is one of the reasons why I have not been able to exercise since this level of torture started in August of 2015, when I was previously very physically active and fit. The chronic severe sleep deprivation plus so much torture day and night has completely exhausted me and debilitated my muscles. I have seen significant muscle weakness and flaccidity since 2015. Additionally, I experience frequent planted dreams and dream manipulation. They have also done planted
You feel that you've been injustice? You mean as far as the Justice Department feeling me? Well, in terms of your being a victim. You mean what I'm feeling? Yeah, explain a little bit to me how you perceive yourself as being. I have actual photographs of burns on my body. When I went to my doctor, the response was, "How do I know you didn't do that to yourself?" How do you even address that? I've passed 2 psychological evaluations, not 1, but 2. The one physician said, "You're mentally sound as a bell." He said, "I don't have any idea what's going on with you." When I go to sleep, when I go to try to sleep, I feel like I'm being lit up like a Christmas tree. I feel every cell in my body just bouncing out of my body. I can't even describe it. I get electric shock of my rectum. I get electric shock up my nose. I've woken up with burns on the end of my tongue. I've had burns on the palms of both of my hands. I vibrate. I can barely hold a piece of paper without quivering. Does that answer your question? I'm trying to find what's the source of the... The source are these exotic weapons. They talk about in 2976 that if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women. They sent me to the mental ward because they said I did this to myself. Oh, it never hurt me. I have been a victim since 2007. You can't see this. Life has been destroyed in every possible way, and every day has been a struggle for me. I'm very grateful to be before you today due to Amy Anderson's due diligence and to everyone else involved. I thank you, council members,
for giving us targeted individuals a chance to speak and to be heard. And I pray
And the plan is that Mr. Juan Chuck back here will be, has the list of folks that will be offering comment. And maybe the thing to do is to just dive into that. I want to remind you before we do that the commission, of course, is charged by President Obama to be looking at bioethical issues generated by novel and emerging research in biomedicine and related areas of science and technology, and to promote policies and practices that assure ethical responsibility. And remind you that the specific charge on this meeting has been around looking at on the topic of federal standards regarding human subjects research. So with that background and the amount of each person, I believe, has a minute and a half is the way we've been able to try to cram in as many comments as possible. So, Juan, if you're ready for the first.
Ms. Cassandra Lewis.
Hi, Ms. Lewis.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Cassandra Lewis, and I'm a targeted individual from Baltimore, Maryland. My story may sound disjointed. I'm trying to keep it within the minute and a half. I worked as a legal secretary at Hogan & Hartson in Washington, D.C. It is now called Hogan Lovells. Attorney Jan McDavid made a client mistake that she tried to blame on me. I then refused to work for Ms. McDavid. Shortly thereafter, strange and inexplicable events occurred on my job, and after being fired, followed me to my home and to all my travels. Attorney Christopher J. Hagan, formerly of Hogan & Hartson, Mr. Samuel Conrad, he's a retired security administrator of Hogan & Hartson, and Robert Johnston, who is the current firm administrator of Hogan Lovells, are responsible for my targeting. I believe to protect Ms. McDavid's reputation, a phone call was made. To whom and why they did this to me, I truly just speculate. Gang stalking and harassment was used to implement this non-consensual biotechnology application that is being used on me. I now experience involuntary limb movements. I receive stingings. I get pains to my head, to my abdomen, to my vaginal area, and to my anal area. I am receiving from a language that I read concerning this technology. It is called Medusa, developed by the Navy, is being used on me. I get burning on my lower legs and my ankles. I get ringing in my ears that's pitched. It's like they pitch it. I get pulsing sensations in my body. I get an electrical current, an electrical sensation that goes up and down through my body and can be isolated to different parts of my body. I get severe tingling on the soles of my feet. I'm almost done. It's almost like being electrocuted, and the first time I experienced this was walking into a bank. I get buzzing sensations on the soles of my feet and individual toes. I also get facial manipulations, just to name a few of the things that happen to me. I feel as though I am being roboticized. These are very strange occurrences, and I would like for all the targeted individuals in this room to stand up and to show yourself. My story is similar to a lot of these people.
Military medical research. I too believe my experience is referred to as no-touch torture, utilizing defense technologies. Jonathan Marino, he basically predicted all this a number of years ago in his book Undue Risk. I'm asking you to help initiate a congressional investigation. We've all come a long way. This is what is needed. We want to have the accounts of this extreme human rights abuse that's going on in our country documented and heard, all of the accounts. We also need what was done during the Clinton administration, which is a major declassification of some of these documents that are hiding what's been going on. I speak for many when I say we've suffered long enough. My personal experience has been 10 years. I've been vilified. I've been ostracized. I've been tortured. I have burns on my body. I'm an American. I have rights. The answer to the question, the big question today, could it happen today? The answer is yes, it is happening today. It is happening for some of us every day. I am begging for you to help us. Thank you.
But I was going to be shot in the face. And it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, you're going to get shot in the face. You know, sound like an angry ass old person. You know, then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Don't get shot in the face. You know, stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is with the Voice of Skull, it's a bunch of females. You know, and I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would stalk another female or sit back and allow that to go on? You really think they think it's nothing wrong with them, basically. You know, they call me a retarded bitch and all of this here, but I was
I am a victim of organized stalking, electronic harassment, microwave torture, V2K abuse, and I'm asking you to help us end this crime against humanity, which has impacted men, women, children all around the world.
Hi, I'm Wan from Malaysia. My family are targeted individuals. We are victims of cyber torture. And I will not give up. I will fight to the end.
And I'm a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, and I'm speaking to you on International Targeted Individual Day. I live in the U.S., in Illinois, and I'm a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, microwave torture,
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
Please become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen, and the targeting continues in New Zealand. I'm making this video in remembrance of Targeted Individual Day, our third annual Targeted Individual Day. And I'm asking that every honest-hearted human being open their eyes to a crime.
My name is Jeanette. I am 56 years old and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I am a victim of covert electronic harassment and torture. I am a targeted individual.
Hello. Why? Because it hurts. I need help. I need you guys to come get me. It's brutally painful. I have a house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, first floor, second floor, 2 garage, backyard, land, everything. Can't live in my house. My neighbors are shooting direct energy weapons through my house. I hold my heart like this. You know why? Because it hurts. I need help. I need you guys to come get me. Come get me. Oh, Lord, because I think I'm dying. I'm making this video
in an attempt to expose this horrific nightmare.
Hello, I'm making this video to honor the third annual Targeted Individual Day. That's August 29th, 2020. My name is Linda Marie Sharp in Mendocino County, California, United States. I am a targeted person and have been for over 12 years. I am electronically tortured by directed energy weapons.
Hi, my name is Lisa Davis and I'm in Duluth, Minnesota. I am a targeted individual.
pinpoint one person. It's everybody, it's all the time, and so it discredits your character and your state of mind, which, starts to make everybody believe something's wrong with you, and then you start believing something's wrong with you. But it's not you, and you know that it's not you. It's just hard to prove. But don't go get, mental health help. Don't see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Most of the time, they're involved too. Your police are involved, your firemen, ambulance, people at hospitals, they're all involved. And it's unfortunate that we live in a society that gets a kick out of doing people like that. But it is what it is. The only thing you can do is stay strong and focus on the people you love. I was lucky enough to have my mother, who was going through the same thing that I was going through. They started saying all kind of crazy stuff to her at her jobs, and
I'm kidding.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leslie Crawford. I'm here from the state of Michigan. I wanted to speak about biotechnology applications being utilized on my person. I have medical reports showing eye damage being done to my eyes. My eyes does not have a mirror image. I also have nanowiring inside my eyes. I have pictures of the actual implants from the eye doctor. Once enlarging the nano implants, you will see a copy of the actual particles in my eyes. I have CAT scans, MRIs, and PETs showing wiring, nanowiring in my head. This is my brain. It's straight from the right side to the left side of my head. I also have implants in my chin, in the chin region on both sides. One side shows a wire, the other side shows the actual implant. Implant particle devices coming down through here. Projectiles of the nanoparticles on the side of my head. Enlarged pictures. These crimes is happening in America. This is a domestic problem, not only international. The victims is not being just victimized individually. We are being victimized and our family members as well. Gang stalking tactics and harassment was utilized to implement us into this program unconsensually.
Leslie, I think your comments reinforce much of what we've heard, and if you don't mind, I'd like to make room for others at the microphone now, since it seems to be reinforcing. Juan, I'd ask you to pick somebody, this gentleman right here. Yeah.
She's been waiting.
I'm sorry, who's been waiting? Oh, yeah, please.
My name is Eugenia Derden.
I'm sorry, Eugenia?
Eugenia Derden, yes. Everything I've heard from this commission and this panel about ethics, they were mostly talk about pharmaceuticals research, but I haven't heard anyone talking about a psychotronic weapon research, or bioelectromagnetic weapon research. Who in this panel are familiar with the psychotronic weapon? Raise your hand, please. Who of you know about psychotronic weapons? Any one of you? psychotronic bioelectromagnetic weapons. Are you familiar with that?
Not at all.
No? Okay, in this audience, is anybody familiar with a psychotronic weapon? Okay. Okay, the audience is familiar with that, and I think that in order for a panel or a commission to be able to help this problem and this issue, we'll have to have more knowledge on what psychotronic weapons are. I am physically leashed from my neck to the electromagnetic power of one of the weapons that is being used against me. I get tortured day and night. At night is with nightmares and all kinds of dreams that I don't want in my head. And throughout the day is my body. They prod with my neurological system, so they do anything to my body. Sometimes it's painful, sometimes it makes me sick. It makes me want to throw up. Sometimes I feel I'm going to have a heart attack. They do all kinds of things like jitter, pulsating with the electromagnetic frequencies. They use a program called virtual reality that makes them feel that they are right in there in front of you. And as you know, electricity travels as fast as the light. And you know how fast that travels, right? How fast does it travel? Anybody?
186,000 miles a second.
Very good.
Yes.
86,
I tell you what, though, we do need to hear
So I would appreciate if you get more aware and read. There is in the internet. There's all kinds of information now on psychotronic weapons, so that you will probably be able to help us after you have a better knowledge of what these weapons are and what these weapons do. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your.
Over my legs and sometimes on my face and arms. The first incident of this was so extreme and highly traumatizing that it made me let out a most horrific, piercing scream. This is completely sensory, so it leaves no marks, but it feels like you're being thrown into a fire while still alive. One day in 2015, also, I was awakened in the middle of the night with my left arm completely limp, as though there was no bone in it, or as though it had been paralyzed, and it had a horrific numb-like sensation in addition to a severe burning sensation. I awoke suddenly in the most extreme, piercing screams, not knowing what to do other than to just cradle the totally flaccid arm in my other hand while screaming hysterically, and then it quickly returned to normal, but left me very traumatized. Something they have been doing for about the past 4 months or so has been the symptoms of a yeast infection, which they turn off or on, as well as up or down in severity. Right after nearly every shower, and sometimes during the shower, they do severe symptoms of a yeast infection, sometimes making me scratch my genitals so much that it leaves my genitals painfully raw, making it hard to walk or sit or go to the bathroom. I would now like to talk about the people around over my legs and sometimes on my face and arms. The first incident of this was so extreme and highly traumatizing that it made me let out a most horrific, piercing scream. This is completely sensory, so it leaves no marks, but it feels like you're being thrown into a fire while still alive. One day in 2015, also, I was awakened in the middle of the night with my... I also experienced what is referred to as malo... anything electronic. They have even locked me out of my office building that uses an electronic key. It is often very difficult and an immense battle just to even sit on the toilet to go to the bathroom. Not only because of the bowel and bladder manipulation, but also because of the frequent severe sexual assaults on the genitals, my butt and anus, shaking, vibrating, and rocking my body back and forth, and forced eyeball movements, and phantom touch sensations doing rubbing sensations, etc.
Went to bed I had all, and they had all of a sudden I had been there like 4 or 5 days, and then use their telephone, so I could make airline, flight, because all I wanted to do was leave Chicago. And so I figured I'd make my plans in a hotel. I didn't think that they could hack the hotel. I was very naive back then. I didn't understand the full technology spectrum or even interest, and all I wanted to do was leave. So I was at a hotel on a relatively high floor, and they had all of a sudden I had been there like 4 or 5 days, and the night before I was attacked really bad, I noticed a maintenance man about 10 or 11 o'clock at night messing with all of the lights up and down the hallway. And as I'm sorry, I get kind of upset when I think about this because it's really messed up. Um, and my spidey sense went off, and I was really kind of nervous about like what the hell he was doing out there, because he was kind of a sinister, he was real creepy kind of person. So the next night, I believe it was a Friday night, I went to bed. I had all of the doors, all the locks on the door, even the one that kind of like goes over that you can't open from the outside. I had everything locked up. Figured I was safe. I went to bed maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning. I woke up about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, bleeding out of every hole, sick. Someone was in my room, or had been in my room. Food was missing. My dogs were traumatized. I had been obviously sexually assaulted uh, in all the worst ways possible. I got up, first thing I did was vomit. And all I wanted to do was I was just in shock. There was a do not disturb sign on my door, and I didn't do this. And there was lotion all over my bathroom floor. All I wanted to do was just get on a plane and get the hell away from everybody. And I was, very, very sick and in a lot of pain. I had already been denied a rape kit when I owned my house, and woke up, and my hair had obviously been pulled out, and there were earplugs in my bed. And I felt like someone had done something. I went to Palos Community Hospital, um, under the directions of a non-compromised police officer, who told me that if anything happened, to go right to the hospital. So I did. And I had a compromised doctor who treated me like a third-rate citizen and said she would give me an STD test and a drug test. But she refused me a rape kit. And so I had already been kind of traumatized with hospitals anyway, and honestly just wanted to leave. So I stayed in my room until about checkout, and then when I was downstairs waiting for my cab to come to take me to the airport, because I just was going to get on a plane, I had $10,000 in my pocket and just wanted to leave. There was a young man who had to have been no more than 23, 24 years old. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Promise you'll take me back to my room and I'll be okay." And like was mocking me. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know? And kind of looked at him, and there was a girl with him, a young girl, once again, shocked by how young they were. And she was like, no, 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 like don't, you don't do that. And I